Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. If you watched my video last week, you saw that I made a spiral notebook just by replacing the cover. It's a lot easier than it looks, but if you missed it, head over to my blog. I've put a link there to take you back to it. Otherwise, peruse my YouTube channel and you'll be able to find it. So with that theme in mind, today I wanted to show you another 3D project which could be coupled with that one to make a stationery packet. And this one is a Post-it note cover. Really simple, I mean really simple. I will tell you too that I found out that all Post-it notes are not created equal. So I did actually use the regular Post-it note brand. If you are going to buy them at the dollar stores or even at Walmart, make sure that you're using the same appropriate size that I'm using for this design so that the measurements will work correctly. Head over to my blog and check out my online classes tab where I offer project PDF tutorials, and I also offer studio stamps in the mail. It gives you a chance to stamp with me from home. I provide all the pre-cut supplies, including the stamp set, and then you can follow the PDF tutorial with pictures and instructions to assemble at home. It's a lot of fun and it gives us a chance to stamp together. Let's get over to the stamp table and let's get started. You can see how cute this little typewriter is right on top of this Post-it note holder. Here's a quick look at the inside, and I'm going to show you how to do some assembly on this. Now, in the introduction, I talked to you about Post-it notes, and I told you that they were not all created equal, and I found that out the hard way. The Post-it note brand is actually a perfect 3x3. And of course their colors are very traditional to the brand. The yellow is more yellow, the pink is more pink. I'm sure you've noticed that. The ones I bought at the dollar store, I noticed were just a hair bigger or a hair smaller. So make sure that you know that my instructions are for the actual Post-it note brand for the 3x3 Post-it notes. I'm starting with crumb cake cardstock, and this is cut 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. I'm going to put all the dimensions and pictures on my blog. You'll see the address here on the screen. Make sure you head over there so that you don't have to copy them all down while I'm actually doing the video for you. We're going to do some scoring, so I'm going to use the scoring blade on my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. With the long end inside the trimmer, I'm going to score first at 3 1/8. Now, for those of you that don't measure very well, I know, I get it. Just to help you, between the 3 1/4 mark is the 1/8. It's the next long line. If you use the Simply Scored, you're going to find this is going to be even easier for you. So 3 1/8. And now 3 5/8. And that is the line right after the half. The next long line after the half. 3 5/8, and then I'm going to open up the arm to the trimmer. Beautiful feature of the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer that it extends past 14 inches. Actually goes up all the way to 14 1/2. 6 3/4. Now the 6 1/2 falls right inside here, inside the foldable arm. So the 3/4 is right next to it. So again, 3 1/8, 3 5/8, and 6 3/4. With all 3D projects, I highly recommend the bone folder. You want to make sure you get those folds really nicely scored so that it'll actually hold together very well. Those crisp creases really work. So this is going to be my bottom, and that's going to be actually where I position my Post-it notes, and I'll show you that more towards the end. But let's go ahead and do some stamping on the cover. I'm using the stamp set Tap, Tap, Tap. You don't have much time. This is retiring May 31st, tomorrow, so make sure you head over and get it. I have loved this for 3D projects and stationery designs, and I find the set is really, really awesome for the men in my life because it's not very feminine. I'm using the image that has the alphabet. They're kind of like on keys. Aren't they cute? And the crumb cake ink, so I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to use just the cover of my Post-it note holder, and I am going to stamp that here at the bottom. Now I'm going to vary this design a little bit. So I'm going to manipulate my stamp a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right, just so that all my letters are not exactly the same as I move up towards the end of my project. Now here at the top, I'm going to fold that crease down, and then I'm going to stamp again. This way it's not on the back, unless of course you want it there, so make sure you flip it over to do so. All right, so now we've got our cover. Setting that aside, I'm going to use a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and this is basic gray ink. This is the Archival, love it. And I'm using the typewriter image. I'm going to ink that up, stamping that on my scratch paper. Now we've got our typewriter. I'm actually going to flip my grid paper over for you so that you have a clean background to see me a little bit better. I'm going to use the Soft Sky ink, and we're going to do some very simple random coloring. Now, when I say simple, I mean simple. So please know that there's not a thought put into this. This is supposed to look aged and old. Turn your pad over, give it a squeeze. That will give you ink inside the lid for which you can work with. I am using my aqua painter. Love these. You just unscrew the lid and put some tap water down inside, and this eliminates obviously a cup with drips, which is wonderful with paper. So I'm going to take a little bit of this color and I am going to water it down, and I am very quickly and simply going to color in some areas on here. And again, you're going to notice I'm going fast and kind of messy. Now don't worry about areas that are light and dark. And because this is not watercolor paper, you're not going to want to totally saturate it by going over areas too much. So now I've got some areas that are light and dark, which is what I want. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to put a little bit on my mechanics of my typewriter, and a little bit here, and a little bit here. But you know what? I just realized I forgot something, so I'm going to stop. Do you guys ever do that? I know I do it a lot. I got all excited to show you what I was doing, and I forgot to put the words on. So this is also from the same set, but I want the word just note. So I'm going to set this aside. Using my basic gray marker on the brush tip, I'm actually just going to color in the word note with the two little asterisks. And I love this because you can pick up any word or image off of any of the stamps that you own simply with a marker. Make sure I get that off of there. Even if you get some stray little marks on your card, it's fine, because this is supposed to be a typewriter. You're going to huff to re-moisten the stamp, and I'm going to position this the best I can and just get it on there. So now I have the word note. That's what I wanted. All right. Okay, rewind. I feel like I need to go back and start over. Oh, please tell me I'm not the only person who makes that mistake and forgets and has to fill it in. I'm going to do a little bit more filling in here and here. And when you feel like you have enough, you can just stop. I'm going to do my little thing right in here in blue. All right, and you can see I have done this very quickly, and I have not put a lot of thought into where it's going or how dark it is and if it's perfect. Okay, we're going to switch colors. Before we do that, I want you to clean out your brush. Now, I'm not going to bring in the Stampin' Scrub only because of the limited space that's in front of me, so just pretend. You are going to squeeze your aqua painter over the Stampin' Scrub so that you can run water through the bristles to make sure that it's clean. And then I'd like to give it a little bit of pinch because I don't want it to be soaking wet. I'm switching colors to Crumb Cake, which is the same ink we used for that background on the cover. And again, we're going to do some real random watercoloring. This is not even going to be pretty, but I want it light. So I'm going to do a little bit back here. And I'm going to do a little bit in here and a little bit up in here. Maybe a little bit more down in here, like where my reel is. And I might do a couple little mechanic pieces. And you can see this is more like therapy than art. Because you don't want it perfect. We want the typewriter to look old and aged. And I don't want you to have to put too much time into it. And I think I'm going to make my bar brown this time. Now, if you want to, you could color in the paper. I did that a little bit on the first one here, but I think I'm going to leave this one just plain, just for the sake of the video. Remember, squeeze out your brush again, get water through those bristles, and then squeeze it and cap it before you store it. You want those little hairs all nice and straight for the next time that you use it. Did you see this? I dripped. That's because I didn't use my scrub. I'm having a rough day, peeps, aren't I? Okay, so now we're going to fussy cut. Now listen, don't whine. We don't have a framelit for everything in the world. Well, we're gonna, it seems. This new catalog that's coming out on June 1st is full of bundles and framelits. And I just know you're gonna love those products as much as you're gonna love these that are leaving. But remember, this is the last day on May 31st, which I believe is tomorrow, for you to get these things that you really enjoy. The great thing about cutting out this typewriter is the lines are pretty much, for the most part, straight. Remember what I tell you about going around these things. Don't try to cut right on the stamped line. You'll lose definition of your image that way. And not only that, it's kind of frustrating, right, to try to get it just totally perfect. We're just looking for a basic silhouette around our image so that we can mount it. Guess what? We're almost done. I'm going to flip this over. That's my typewriter. I'm going to grab a couple dimensionals and I'm going to put those here on the back of my image. I'm going to peel off the paper backing. Yes, I moved that slightly wet paper. I know. I hope you guys are giggling with me and not making fun of me today. I'm having an off day. All right, that's going to go here. Isn't that cute? All right, so how do we get the Post-it notes to stay in? I've tried lots of things, and I'm going to be honest with you, this has been the best solution. It's 2 glue dots. So I'm going to fold this back. I'm going to put 1 glue dot back in the corner here and back in the corner here. And you are going to open up the back of this, and you're going to slip it down inside this little flap here. You want to make sure it's down all the way. I'm trying to show you in the camera. There you go. And press. Look, isn't that cute? Now, here's the great thing. Just gently pull, and it's going to be able to remove the glue dots, and you can refill this. So this is a gift that they can use over and over and over again. So here's the one we made today. Here's the one I made beforehand. You can even see that I picked up some of the stamp before at the top here. Not really a big deal. It's supposed to look old-fashioned and from a typewriter. I'm so glad that you've joined me today, and I look forward to sharing more projects with you as we move forward into that brand new catalog on June 1st. Have a great day, everyone. See you next time.